Hello, today is Friday, 4th of February 2022, and I was about to do like a series on Mars through the houses, and I thought in the light that we are going to be, well, it's Friday for one thing, day of Venus, and secondly, we're also coming very fast approaching Valentine's Day. Let's do Venus through the houses, and what better day to start this than today? So I'm just going to give you the indications for Venus, and then we go on to discuss how it is when it is in your first house. And obviously this is all using a sidereal zodiac, and the condition of Venus will be like, I'm just pretending it's got like no conjunctions, no aspects, just the pure Venus through the first house. And obviously this Venus is going to be completely different depending on whether or not it's in Scorpio or Sagittarius or Gemini, you know, so they're all different. And also the nakshatras make a difference too, because they will definitely refine that. And obviously it's not just nakshatras are 13 degrees 20 of a sign. They have 4 padas as well, so each pada is different again. So there's a lot to think about, but anyway, let's start. So I thought I'd just go through the indications for Venus. So Venus is all about balance. If somebody was to say to me, what would you just say would be, you know, like if you were to give 3 things to explain what Venus is, I would say Venus is about balance, it's about self-love, and it's about good choices. This will be how I would describe it. I wouldn't describe it like what people may think, you know, this that's why people who have got good relationships, and they, even if they were to come out of one relationship, they soon attract another, it's because they just got that understanding that they can be generous, you know, and they can see the big picture. So anyway, let's start. So keywords: love, passion, relationship, union, choices, values, obviously the arts, self-love, grace, partnerships, beauty, non-judgmental, generosity in all things, diplomacy, fairness, interaction, family, artistics, and kind of, I would just say things to do with, you know, aesthetics really as well. Fashion, cosmetics, perfume, flowers, paintings, good food, travel, vehicles of any kind. So it could be anything from a scooter, bike to car, or even an airplane. It's pleasant, it's about luxury, it's about charm, sensuality, unconditional love, expressive, social grace and awareness, and it goes on. So, and it's also, I think I would also just add, there is like appreciations of all things and seeing beauty in everything. This is when Venus is quite balanced. And as we know that in the natural zodiac, starting from Aries, it rules the 2nd and the 7th house. So Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and this sign is also earthy. So you know that Venus is obviously a feminine planet. It ruling the 2nd sign of the zodiac. It rules the face and also the neck. So it's about choices, turning right and left to actually see when is a good time to cross the road, if you like. And they know what's good for them, rather than they wouldn't make a choice. A good Venus would not go for somebody who looks good. They would just kind of think, because it rules the natural 2nd house of the zodiac, it's about family. What is this relationship a good investment for me and for my children? You know, for my values, does it add to my values? They wouldn't be straying, even if I don't know, some magical handsome guy or Adonis of a guy, or some Aphrodite will come through. This is really all about that kind of having that value. And and obviously, because it rules the second natural house of the zodiac, it is a feminine planet. When you are gracious towards feminine things, which is like environment, females, women, female energy, women, mothers, and everything else, it naturally helps kind of that respect. It could even be from one woman to other. It doesn't have to be from a man to a man to a woman, and actually from a man to a man. Generosity, being kind, money flows in. So I just want to add here as well that Venus is friendly with Saturn. Venus rules the second house of the zodiac, which is money, resources, and also the money, the savings that you have, money that you have in the bank account. And it's friendly with Saturn, and Saturn rules the 11th house of the zodiac. And so that again is another house of gains, financial gains. So these two planets work together really well, because in a relationship you want to be, obviously, see the beauty in the person, also be there for them during the times that they are sick, they're unwell, growing old together, being a pillar for each other, looking after, having each other's back. And this is the reason why often when people can't find love, it's because they can't love themselves. And what it creates this issue with back problems, because obviously Saturn rules your structure, also there's the sun, but it's like skeletal system. So lack of support. And this is when you can really help yourself by just starting with self-love, doing rituals to really get the Venus in your chart strong. And I always say this, planets that are really fast moving, like Venus, Mercury, Moon, and the Sun, they're really easy to get results quickly out of them. And just be persistent, but always thank God and universe for everything as well. So, and also Saturn is again brings that stability to Venus, and it shows that with time things get better as well in the relationship. So normally when you go into a relationship, the first couple of years are quite easy, and then you go through this more challenging times, because remember, when you get married, the first year is like woohoo. The second year is pretty good, you're helping each other to pay the bills and everything. The third year, so again, it becomes an upachaya, so it's a bit challenging. You have to put more effort into the relationship. And again, the fourth year can bring you more comforts, because you got the accumulation of the wealth. You might just change home to a bigger home, or you might actually buy a home together. And you might have kids after that, sixth house, there could be that you get yourself into debt, all that kind of stuff, basically. And then from the seventh house, you start traveling, all that kind of stuff. But so relationships have also go through all these stages as well. And anyway, let's go back. So second house is all about family. It's your speech. So it's always good to try and always leave the person with a kind word, and because I think people never forget your kindness and generosity, whether it's in words or gestures, something like that. It's always magical, and it's also rules senses with this, something, all those. And I really love it, because my own daughter, she's really good at this. She's very good at explaining, like when she smells something, she can really use all these words to articulate a particular sort of smell or taste or something. It's lovely, very Venetian, that is. It's also to do with what is good for me. And it also rules the seventh house of the zodiac, which is about attraction to the other, and that whole romantic thing, romance and being together, and gets your heart chakra because it rules the heart chakra, so it gets you excited, pumping the blood around your body, which is obviously Mars, gets the passion going, and stimulation, interaction, going out, being more sociable, social events, in, you know, as I said, interaction again. And also it rules kind of dealing with other people, being generous and diplomatic and creating harmony with others, and you know, that kind of stuff. And also it's debilitated in the 6th natural house of the zodiac, Virgo, when it's all, everything is on the microscope. You know, you did this and you didn't do that, and last Sunday, you know, you dropped a pin on the floor or something like that. You know, it's just like really being very critical, and just knocking somebody down for something that, you know, does it, okay, some things, you know, you got to say, but other things, you know, just doesn't have to be a big deal really, so you can overlook certain stuff. And just always remember, when you're going to say something, just always remember the good things and balance things out really. And it's exalted in the 12th natural house of the zodiac, which is the house of sex and bed pleasures and good sleep, having that, when you put your head down, you're just like rested, you know, it's beautiful. Also, this is the house of devotions, and devotion, God, spirituality, and the bigger picture. So that's another word that I would use for it as well, is devotion. Obviously, Venus will be very different according to, you know, as I said, the situation with it. But if it's normally in front of the sun in your chart, so it will be, I don't mean in the same sign, I mean in front. It will be much more ta-da, I'm here kind of Venus, whereas Venus, if it's behind the sun, it's more introverted, not so extroverted. So anyway, this is the bit about Venus. I'm now going to do through the houses. Thank you for watching. As I'm doing this Venus through the houses, I'm approaching Valentine's Day. It doesn't need to necessarily be because of that. I actually wanted to just tell you, I had, this is Michael Mastro's and his wife Robin's book, you know, Making Room for Mr. Right. It could be for Mrs. Right too. And I bought this book because Michael, I mean, he's a fantastic Vastu expert. And he's an architect anyway, so it's just wonderful putting the two together. And he actually did Vastu for my property, and kind of remedied some of the issues, because actually this property has got so many issues you will not believe. But since then, it's been really brought a lot of happiness into my home. So, and this has got a wonderful, obviously it tells you about, more than anything, saying to you that if you want somebody, love to come into your life, you have to make room for it. So if your house or property or your flat or your room is full of clutter, you kind of like, the energy is a mess in your environment. So fix your environment, get rid of anything that no longer serves you, and start making it beautiful. And it gives you lots of different things. It's also got like a full moon ritual thing that you can do. It's also invites you to do intentions and write down exactly the sort of person that you want in terms of like physically, what do you want them to look like, financially, emotionally, spiritually, which is fantastic, really amazing. So it kind of makes you really think about what you want, because I think often people want love, but they haven't really, never really thought about how, you know, what sort of love they want. And I think right now is a really good time to start thinking about what type of love you want, because we have just been through, well, we're still going through a really difficult patch in the world, and what you thought you liked 2 years ago might be very different to what you look for now. So this would be a perfect time now to start thinking about what you would like. So anyway, it has lots of different tips. It's got beautiful full moon rituals that you can do. So amazing. And I just wanted to show you, because I love yantras. It's also got like a yantra for Venus there. which, you know, I don't know if you can actually take a picture of that, and I'm sure Michael wouldn't mind, and just print a few things, few of those, and then start colouring the yantra in whatever colour you like. So, you know, these kind of things reiterate your message of love to the universe, that's what you're looking for. And be open, you know, like do Venusian things, start treating yourself really well, and the universe will start treating you well. Thank you for watching. Hello, I hope you're well. So here we are, 17th of February 2022. I'm really sorry, my eyes are a little bit sore because I've just in the skies right now, Mercury is sitting right next to Saturn. So Mercury is allergies, and I've had terrible allergies in my right eye, so and I just need to stop rubbing it. So it's amazing, isn't it, how these things happen in the skies, etc. So yeah, anyway, so let's start with 10th house. 10th house is obviously a very, very special angle house. It really is. It shows you like your status, and anytime the person has got a planet in an angle, particularly if it's a malefic, it's amazing. It's just so amazing. Because they really give you, particularly 10th house, because 10th house needs a lot of push. So we are now talking about a very gentle planet in the 10th house. So let's talk, so 10th house, obviously your karma on the world, what you have to do, your status, your career is seen through this house. And this is the part of our life that is very, very open for everybody to see, because this is when the sun is like literally right up on us, on the skies, you know, beaming down. And this is when you can't hide anything, everything is out. And Venus is obviously planet of comforts and home life, things like that. It's quite a private planet, so therefore it likes to be in the 4th house. So there's already like an issue with synergy there in terms of it's like where you want to get cozy, put your pajamas on, take yourself away from the world and just enjoy being. And now obviously Saturn is 10th house is pushing you out, so people are you're having to perform, whereas you just kind of want to be, you know, and feel. So it's like those kind of things are a bit different. And 10th house is obviously 7 houses away from your 4th house. 4th house is your mum. 10th house is a type of person your mum kind of likes, you know, that kind of attraction that she likes. So you can see your dad through this as well, even though in Vedic astrology we take the 9th house. So yeah, it gives you that flavor. So you can see that where it gets directional strength in the 4th house, that directional strength is very much kind of gone. So in order to utilize this really well, I'll give you some tips towards the end, because it also, what it does, it brings together the two planets that are in the natural zodiac. They're friendly towards each other. So Venus is planet of money and relationships, and Saturn, its friend, is planet that rules 10th house of career and 11th house of gain. So straight away there is this synergy in terms of they get on really well together, and also both of them bring wealth as well as family and relationships and stability. So it kind of the two houses of done yoga and the two angle houses come together with this. Clearly it's going to be different flavors for different ascendants, but generally speaking this is the theme that's running all the time through it. And obviously this will be like a flavor of Venus being in Capricorn, which is like a upward moving sign. So this is a various house of success, and providing this Venus has got no bad aspects, no conjunctions, this is how we're going to talk about it, then it's going to give you success because it's quite comfortable in that environment, and does get better with time, just purely because the fact that Saturn is slow moving. So it kind of shows that you could meet your partner at work, and their partner, you're also looking for somebody who's professional, has high standards, social status, has achieved a lot. Those kind of things are important to you, and they have to look good, be professional, conservative, hard worker, because Capricorn is hard worker. And it kind of also shows that you're a bit of a power couple, in the sense that you want to have some form of status together on the world. Because obviously if you're love significators in your 10th house, you don't want to hide this person away. You're very much like a couple, and your status on the world is very important together. So obviously somebody respectable, reliable, hardworking, authoritative, but it will be creative as well, because it's blending things to do with Venus in with the 10th house. So it will immediately bring in all the, depending on what house, obviously, it rules for you, Venus. But if we just continue sticking to the natural zodiac, being Aries, it brings all those creative things to do with Taurus now into Capricorn, which is like travel, hospitality, food, agriculture, all those, banking, can all come in here. And in fact, for an Aries ascendant, this could be a banker. So yeah, these are the things to actually bear in mind. And it is an Upachaya house, obviously, as well, so this will get better with time. And we know that with Upachaya houses, we need a strong malefic to be in them to give you the power to push ahead. So this, no doubt, will, because it'll get better with time, but it is something that you need to just like consider if you have this. So obviously both you and your partner could be, obviously it could be, you'll have a lot in common, in the sense that both of you are very respective of your environment, the government. You could have governmental jobs or high authority jobs, that kind of thing. And it could also be, but because you're both quite exposed, so you need to sort of like get the energy from each other, if you like, to move forward. And so what will happen is, the way to look at it as well as Venus, obviously it's the planet that we enjoy. These people will also enjoy their job. They're creative, and it could also be that you work with women too. And because also it's kind of aspecting the 4th house of natural zodiac, which would be like Cancer. So it's a benefic aspect in that too. So it's really going to be quite nice for home life. There's like a really nice, they're attentive to their work, but they're also attentive and enjoy being at home too. So that kind of that axis is taken care of. 4th houses from your 10th house will give you the remedy for it, because that is how you make yourself happy, and you enjoy your job. So it's important, particularly if you've got something there, to just make time for yourself, because Venus is a feminine planet, and if you just continuously work and work and work, it's going to just exhaust you. And obviously a lot of things depends on your chart, how Mars is your planet of energy and stuff like that. But these people need to reserve something for themselves in order to be able to carry out the dutiful nature of Capricorn, because Capricorn is really, really hardworking, and having Capricorn as your 10th house normally means that you can really work yourself like really, harshly. So you have to just be really aware to just take time out as often as possible, book your holidays in advance and start planning, so you got something to look forward to. That will be so important, which obviously in the climate that we are in is going to be a bit difficult for sure. But yeah, so it is a nice placement, in the sense that you can see that you have like all these wonderful things going on in terms of work and stuff like that. And second house from it is your 11th house, so you can see the nature of your gains from it. And so this is obviously, you want to see the Ashtaka Varga score of this, because Ashtaka Varga is a score system that gives you the strength of the house. And so I would just say, if your Ashtaka Varga for your 10th house is high, say for example anything from 28 upwards is good. So say you got 29 for your Ashtaka Varga of your 10th house, but your 11th house is 27. So you want to be aware that, you know, you're going to do a lot of work, but the work might not be, unless if that house is aspected quite well. And yeah, so you want to just be aware of that. So you don't want to, like, if you are actually applying for jobs and they are, you know, you put in a lot of hard work in it, just make sure you kind of read everything to just make sure that you're not doing all the work and you're not going to get the job. That's very important. And also you want to look at your 12th house as well, which is third house or after your you know, so 10, 11, 12. So it's like the efforts that you put in your work. So if you're putting a lot of efforts into it, but your Ashtaka Varga for your 12th house is low, so it's 23 or 19. So it just means that you're overspending, you're not really managing your money that well. And so you're doing all that hard work, and then you'll have debts then, because obviously, particularly if you got like a situation where your 6th house is stronger than that 12th house, so it's going to be like, you know, just be aware of that so you don't waste your resources and your energy, because clearly, you know, when we are young we can put a lot of energy into your working environment and your job and career, but you can't sustain that. So if you want to work at a level to do with Venus, because Venus is obviously, it is rejuvenation, and if you're constantly working yourself really, really hard, then you're not going to get fruits. So I would definitely have a look at that Ashtaka Varga of that. But generally speaking, it does give a very, very nice, it's really nice, because it's really looking at the 4th house. It says a lot about your parents as well and how beautifully connected they are, particularly if they're in good condition. So that, in that sense, is really nice. And the early education that your mother gives you and the adoration of your dad, you're probably daddy's daughter, or, you know, if you're a male, then you're very close to your father and very adoring of your family, very protective, which is lovely. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. So for Aries ascendant, this is Venus, which is 2nd and 7th house ruler in the 10th house. And this will be a Venus which is like, so when you're actually in a relationship, your house of career and also money will kick in, family, and it'll be really nice because Venus is in a friendly sign in Capricorn, and it'll be aspecting the 4th house of natural zodiac, Cancer. So this will be really nice, create a really nice home environment for you and your family, your future family, which is really nice. And it gives you a really nice kind of image as well. Your public image will be quite harmonious, and yeah, so it'll be really, really nice. For Taurus ascendant, this will be Venus in Aquarius. So this will be your 1st and 6th house ruler in the 10th house. So this will be like you create your own job. So you could possibly be self-employed, because 6th house is now involved in your 10th house, and you would just want to do jobs that are actually quite nice for people. So it could be like a healer, you could work in cosmetic industry or something like that, you know, where you're doing healing, Reiki, but more sort of to do with Venus, really. So we could be a nutritionist, because also 11th house of natural zodiac is your 10th house, so it's quite a humanitarian one as well. So that kind of job will be, you know, pretty good. And for Gemini ascendant, this will be Venus will be their 5th and 12th house ruler in Pisces, so be exalted. So this will be somebody who is could be in medicine, something like that, and working in hospitals, working maybe with young people, children. You know, be a lecturer or a teacher, advisor. They do really well on things like that, so this will be really nice. And they will really have these psychotherapists, psychologists, something like that. Very good for work, because obviously Venus is exalted there, and it's also from their aspect in your 4th house, energizing that, which is normally quite a sign of kind of which is ruled again by its friend Mercury, so it really energizes the person in that sense too. And then we have yeah, and also it's fifth house ruler aspect in the fourth house, so it gives you a really, really good Raj Yoga. Just wanted to put that in there. Also, for them too, it's what will happen is this Venus too. It's you could meet them when you're traveling abroad, because Pisces is the natural 12th house of the zodiac. So just saying that. For Cancer ascendant, Venus will be 4th and 11th house ruler in their 10th house, which will be Aries. So Aries, from there, you know, Venus is going to be aspecting own house, Libra. So that's pretty good. So this will be somebody who's kind of quite, it can be in scientific jobs, because certain parts of Aries are like that. You know, they could also be in gynecology, work with midwifery, things like that too. So yeah, and also this will give them lots of gains too, because this also rules their 10th house. Rules 11th house too. So that will be, their job can bring a lot of money for them in that sense. So yeah, so it could be, it's going to be quite a nice job. You know, it could be also in travel industry as well, just by the sheer fact that Venus rules the 3rd house. That could be very much the case. They definitely do a lot of movements and learning skills and travel with their job in that one. For Virgo ascendant, this will be 2nd and 9th house ruler in the 10th house. Again, it creates really, really strong Dhan Yoga, really strong Raj Yoga too. So this is nicely placed. It'll be in a friendly sign too, so really good. This could give you jobs like in food industry, in travel industry. It could be a teacher. It could also be dealing with accountancy, or, you know, multiple jobs, technology, graphic design. Wonderful. They could also do podcasts and things like that, because 2nd house is speech. So they could also be linguists too. And then for Libra ascendant, this will be 1st and 8th house ruler in the 10th house, which is Cancer. So Cancer being like quite a nurturing sign. They could also be working with children, with mothers who are nursing their young, or their dairy industry, that kind of stuff. So, but they will, from time to time, there'll be breaks in their job. You know, they will have some ups and downs in the job, because it's quite an emotional sign. It's also quite waxy and waning sign, you know, and the ruler of their 10th house moves quite quickly. So they're likely to change their jobs quite quickly by nature. The more stable the sign, the more fixed. Like, for example, somebody like Taurus ascendants, they have, unless obviously depending on how the sign is aspected, or Saturn, but because they have Saturn as their 10th house ruler, and it's a fixed sign as well. Saturn is slow moving, and it's a fixed one. They can stay in their jobs for quite a long time. They will just like weather all the difficulties in their job. Sorry about the light. I just really much prefer to be working with natural light rather than the false lights, particularly LEDs facing me. So I do apologise for the changes, but I live in the UK, so I'm grateful for any second of the sunshine. Anyway, so for Scorpio ascendant, Venus rules their 7th and 12th house. When it goes into their 10th house, Venus is in Leo. So this will be somebody who can be in politics, in government, politician, advisor, because it's natural 5th house of the zodiac, professor, somebody who's quite, is quite a stable sign, quite like, there could be a CEO, there could be somebody quite powerful in their job, really, lots of travels with their job, because the nature of Venus, 7th and 12th house, both are signs of traveling, and they could meet their they could be like an ambassador actually, and they meet their wife maybe abroad, or they actually with their job they move abroad, that kind of thing. And then for Sagittarius ascendant, Venus rules their 6th and 11th house in the 10th house. Now that the 6th house is involved with the 10th house, you know, obviously Venus is also debilitated here. This will be somebody who could be working in large organizations, and could be a medic, a nurse. It could be somebody who is working with younger people, that kind of environment where they are also like, there's quite a lot of practicality to the job, because the sign of this sign is quite practical, quite intellectual, that kind of thing. They could be teachers, lawyers. They definitely do well with litigations and things like that, because of the 6th house nature, and detail will be really good. That kind of stuff. They could also be working for females who are just in difficulties, or young people, as I said, you know, because obviously Mercury rules young people generally, young adults, that kind of stuff. Then for Capricorn ascendant, the 10th house is is Libra, and Venus is obviously the Yogacaraka planet, so rules 5th and 10th house in the 10th house. This is going to be an amazing job, isn't it? This could be very, very good. You know, obviously you want to just make sure, you know, you consider all the aspects and conjunctions, but generally it's very, very strong. Venus will be creative, very creative, because 5th house is as creative as you can get, and this is very, very Venusian, very highly expressive. Definitely can be in, you know, something to do with entertainment, expressive job. They could be an advisor, a politician, somebody who's in, they could even be judges, you know, they'd be whatever the job they're doing it with grace and with a good heart too, because obviously Venus rules their both houses, so this is tremendous job, really. It's amazing, and they will have this sense of like bringing people together, wanting to have balance at home, at work, with their workers, co-workers. They'll be diplomatic. They could be a diplomat for that matter. It could cover many jobs really, because it's Venus in this sign, because it's also a movable sign as well. It has got that character that can be very flexible in jobs, learning, teaching, counselling, any form of job really. So it's pretty amazing. For Aquarius ascendant, Venus will be your Yogacaraka planet again. This will be 4th and 9th house ruler in the 10th house, just like it is for you know, for the other sign, Capricorn. This is again very, very good. The feeling behind Venus will be not as good, because it's not in, you know, Venus and Mars are neutral towards each other. But generally speaking, you know, they could do, this will be a really good sign for being a teacher, you know, and they could also work with their parents, because, you know, this is the Venus that rules 4th and 9th house, mum and dad, you know, so they could happily, you know, work with those kind of people, you know, where with their parents, with their family. It could be family business. Everybody could be quite educated, and lot of there's some sort of secrecy going on with their jobs, just purely because of Scorpio. They could be very spiritual, religious, and it just kind of these. There are parts of Scorpio that are really, really good for psychology, self-help, psychotherapy, healing, those kind of really amazing healing deep philosophical things, because it brings philosophy into the job. So this will be quite good, and these kind of things could also, depending on where Mars is really, because it could also be things to do with the forces too, and it's kind of like Secret Service, where they can be like teaching and mediating as well, spy work, that kind of thing. But it'll be good because it creates really nice Raj Yogas there, so it's pretty amazing. For Pisces ascendant, Venus will be 3rd and 8th house ruler in the 10th house, and the 10th house is Sagittarius. So the job itself can be to do with higher learning, psychology, psychotherapy, those kind of healing jobs now come into this, where you are like literally you could be teaching religion, all forms of healing, but there will be breaks in the job for sure, because of the nature of the 8th house. And but this will be very this sign, Sagittarius, very it's a Sattvic sign, and it is actually quite focused on the future. So everything that they do, it's in order to sustain things. So it's pretty good in that sense. They could be teachers, by the sheer fact that it's a 3rd house ruler. It's also aspecting, Venus will be aspecting what would be Gemini. So it'd be really good in terms of like all forms of things to do with Gemini, which are all writing, expressing, things like that will come into it. It's amazing. And it could also be, again, to do with changing home, changing environment quite often as well, because it's a 3rd house ruler aspect in the 4th house, so there could be a lot of changes in that kind of thing. But there's lots of learning skills, and they again, dual signs are quite flexible, so they can learn a lot of things and be more open-minded about learning new things. So that's it. Have a lovely day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.